Rich Player, which one he's gonna save, because it's gonna be the same thing like Shine. Remember how Puffy had that nightclub shooting,
yes.
and he paid for Shine's lawyers. Well, the lawyer that he hired for Shine was fresh out of law school, and if you read any of the documents from back then, his closing argument in the criminal case was, yes, his first line was, yes, even though my client did it, it was self-defense. It was the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And then what did Diddy's lawyers do when they get up? Johnny Cochran and the other guy. They said, you heard it here. Shine was the one that did it. Our client is innocent. And then, and then Shine got hit with 10 years and Diddy got to walk. That's the same thing that's going to happen to Pistol Pete and to Rich Player if they don't hire their own lawyers and they don't get smart. Joe Tacopina, if he is going to be continuing to represent Fat Joe, whenever and if ever there is a criminal case behind this, Joe Tacopina is not going to be representing the interests of Pistol Pete and Rich Player, and he's going to advise Fat Joe to turn on them and to say that they were acting independent of him and that he knew nothing about the phone recordings, and he knew nothing about them trying to lure TA to a location to pound him out, and that he's an altar boy and he would never do such a thing, and he doesn't believe in violence, and you know, all these different things that they're gonna come up with to try to paint him as some light and fluffy kind of dude.
Well, me personally, I think that, I don't know about Rich Player, but I think that Pistol Pete still has that dumb street loyalty that he would fall on the sword for Joe any goddamn way.
Okay, well, let him do that then. How old is he? What, 55? All right, well, you know, I mean, how many years do you get? I mean, and he's a former felon too, so it's kind of just like, you know, repeat offender. You got to add all that to it. What, 20 years maybe? So,
and according, he's going to destroy himself and with his own interviews with his character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. His interviews are very damaging.
Oh yeah. I mean, he brags about being a criminal. He brags about assaulting people. He brags about stabbing people up. You know, cafe ketchup. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I didn't want to disclose who the individuals were, who the survivor or victim is. You know, I mean, but we know all that. We have the information. So again, there's a lot to be revealed that has not been revealed yet. You know, this is gonna be fun. You know, I'm really enjoying Joe Tacopina spinning on his heels, trying to find a way to come at me. You know, other than appearing in this case and filing a motion to dismiss or filing something. You know, he's just going around trying to take me to the bar, take me to the police. You know, all the different things other than answering or coming up with a defense to the 24 predicated acts identified in this complaint, as well as the 5 additional pages of predicated acts, which, you know, are all redacted for now, but we will disclose if they push us to do so.
Now, how does what happened to Cuban Link in the past play in y'all favor?
I mean, I think that's a clear predicated act. I mean, Cuban Link never came out himself and filed suit, even though I think he should. And I think
when the statute of limitations be up on that?
Well, I don't know. I'm not advising him, but what I would say is this: if Cuban Link did not know at the time definitively who sliced him in the face or who put the order out to slice him in the face, he knows now as of Juneteenth, 2025. So according to New York State's date of discovery rule, the clock may have started on Juneteenth, 2025, and I think he may have 1 year to bring suit against Fat Joe and or the individual whom Fat Joe may have hired to slash him in the face. I'm just saying. Because if Fat Joe's running around telling his workers, you don't want to end up like Pistol Pete, You know, once you get
Me,
cut from
Cuban Link.
Cuban Links. Sorry, yeah, you don't end up like Cuban Links, because once you get cut from Terror Squad, you get cut everywhere, right? So, you know, there it is.
So my next question is, so if this goes, where does this go? Do this go to a deposition to where now Fat Joe's going to have to sit down across from TA and the court of law, if the judge takes this case and say, all right, you know, we're going to go through with this lawsuit, what happens next?
Well. What happens next is that they're gonna make an appearance in the case at some point, um, and they're gonna probably file a motion to dismiss, which is gonna fail, because the case is just too well pleaded and it has way too much evidence, for them to even get a dismissal. Um, and once that happens, because we're in federal court, there's something called a Rule 26 hearing, where we'll discuss people who will be deposed and all these other things, and then we'll exchange discovery. And then we will schedule a deposition of Fat Joe. And under the local rules, TA is allowed to sit in the deposition, and he's allowed to sit across from Fat Joe and stare at him dead in his fat face as Fat Joe sits there and answer questions, that I have prepared. And it will be a recorded deposition. It will be on camera. And he'll have to sit there and he'll have to answer all these questions. And it's going to be 7 hours. And I'm going to use every minute of my 7 hours. Trust and believe. And if he gets up for a bathroom break, I'm going to hit pause on the clock, and he'll bring his fat ass back, and he'll sit there and he'll have to listen. He'll have to answer every question that I have for him for those 7 hours. Guaranteed.
What makes this lawsuit stop, and it makes it go away, as far as Fat Joe negotiating some type of payout for TA? Could that happen like in Cassie's situation?
I mean, listen, this is a civil suit, so there's always a way for this matter to be resolved, civilly. And we're in the Southern District of New York. They have I think the SDNY. I'm not sure. It's either the SDNY or the Eastern District, but I believe the Southern District has a mandatory mediation program. So at some point, this is going to be sent to mediation, and the parties are going to have to try to mediate through some of the claims and the issues, in this case. But this is not the only lawsuit that TA is going to have against Fat Joe. I'm actually in the process of preparing and drafting a lawsuit to go after the labels, and everyone else, who put their names, to those albums that TA wrote, because he needs to be paid.
Records,
Everybody and their mama. If you signed your name to the album and you say that you are deserved to be paid some credit on that album, and that you are a co-owner of the music that you did not write, but TA wrote it, all 3 albums plus the 3 songs that he was featured on and that he was never paid for. We're going to be filing a separate civil copyright law suit, for that, which we'll be filing, in the coming weeks, coming months.
Right. Well, my next thing is the stuff that's redacted in there. Don't y'all believe that the feds will want to know this information?
Of course, and I'm definitely gonna tell it. I'm telling you, I'm gonna turn into Aretha Franklin. When they call, I'm going to be hitting high notes like Whitney Houston. I'm telling them everything. Whatever they want to know, they're gonna know it. Okay? If they want to know it, I'm gonna share it because I know what the redacted is. So I'm gonna tell. Yes, I'm telling. Tyrone is telling, not TA. TB. Tyrone Blackburn, not tuberculosis. TB is telling, not TA. Trust and believe. It's gonna be all me.
Now, when you was putting this lawsuit together, and you was going over it with TA, like me reading it, there's times where it wasn't funny, but it was comical, like with Fat Joe allegedly smacking his butt while he was having intercourse. Like, what is when you going through this stuff, like, are you amazed?
I mean, not amazed. I wouldn't use that word. In shock, definitely.
Right.
Disgusted, definitely. You know, like I think I don't know if you saw the part where TA had to bring him some domes condoms, and there was two French girls, you know, kneeling down behind him. You know, I don't know if you got to that yet, but yeah, that was the most disturbing part because as TA described it, like Fat Joe was trying to encourage him to engage in whatever the French girls was engaging in, and you know, like when the girls turned around, there was juice dripping from their chin, and you know, like it made it made him gag, bro. I was sick when he told me that. I was like, that shit is gross. Just just to think about it, it was so disgusting. But but I don't think you got to that part of the complaint yet. But
No, I did. I definitely did.
you gonna
I
get
might
there
have
soon.
stopped right there. Like,
You gonna get there soon. That I think is probably more disturbing than him, you know, smacking TA on his behind, even though that's equally as disgusting. But that what I just shared with you, that was that there. That was a very much an eye opener. Um, um, but yeah, no, I mean, listen, there's a lot that I didn't put in here. Trust me, there's a lot. Like TA and I, we you know we listen. TA is very much, he's the kind of guy that every letter, every comma, every period has to be truthful. Period. Right? He's not. I mean, no embellishing, no nothing. He needs to tell the truth. Okay. If it didn't happen, it didn't happen. Right, and that's it. Right. So, um, I was asking him
and
about
I
certain.
do believe him a lot of it because what man would want to
Embarrass
divulge
himself.
that type of information and have that type of public embarrassment if it was a
Yeah.
lie?
I
I
mean,
wouldn't have to. I wouldn't want to talk about it unless I really had to.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, I wasn't gonna put it in there. I mean, I said to him, I think we have enough. I don't really think we need to add that. And he said no. He said it's true. It happened. And the truth has to come out. Like I'm not happy about it, but it is what it is. This is what he did. So I have to commend him. I have to give it to him because he actually stood on business. And he said, you know what, I'm gonna say what it is. And he told it because at the end of the day, Fat Joe was recording a lot of this stuff anyway, right? So if Fat Joe is dumb enough to disclose himself on a burner account, he might be dumb enough to leak a video that he has of TA and doing things. You know what I'm saying? So the guy is just not the sharpest at all.
I doubt he's going to do that at this point. I wouldn't think he would leak anything because that would just further the criminal investigation on himself. So that would be really, really, really not smart.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man. But again, I wouldn't put nothing past him. He created a burner account where he disclosed his own identity. I mean, I don't, I don't understand. I mean, what is the purpose? Might as well go to your regular account. Like, what's the purpose of you creating a burner account if you're gonna expose yourself on the burner account? I mean, that to me, when TA showed me that, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, no, he didn't do that, but he did, and not only did he do it, but Pistol Pete, dumb behind, did the same thing too, and he did even worse. You
Yeah, he
know?
sent the video in the DM. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? That
Yeah,
was
like it's just these guys are just really, 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 really dumb, and they don't know anything about technology and all that other stuff, which is clear. But yeah, I mean,